Way to minimize this window. Down here in the corner, I guess. All right. Have we let everybody in, Jen? I can't see on my side.
Yes.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Glad to see you online and in the room. I'm Tom Snyder. I am guessing that I've met almost everybody on the line, if not everybody. We are at the Gig East Exchange in Wilson, North Carolina today. Thank you for those who are here. I think there's a few more on the way, and to everybody who has joined online. This is our quarterly sponsor call, brought to you not just by the RIoT team, but by all these sponsors that you see on the screen. So many of the folks at the various companies we've engaged with are here. We have invited a few guests, a few companies that are thinking about sponsorship to join as well, as a way to learn a little bit about our organization and what we're doing. We're going to go through a number of things today in fairly quick format. Update you on some things that have happened in the past, talk about some things that are coming, talk about some cool success stories that have happened in the ecosystem. And we're also going to try and make this interactive. So we've got a few online poll questions that we'll bring through as we're going on. For those that are in the room, we'll do actual in-person voting, and we'll merge all the results and share it with you at some point after the call. We'll send some follow-ups. And then for those that are here, we're also going to do a little bit of networking. We'll do a tour of the facility. There's a little brewery across the street that we're going to go hang out. So thank you, everybody, for being here. As we get started, are there any new folks that have not participated in RIoT activities that are on the line? Again, I can't see all of the people online. If you are, raise your hand or unmute yourself and say hello. And I'll let you all tell me if you've heard anything. Looks like a lot of familiar names. All right, fantastic. So we'll keep going. So what we want to do is welcome some new folks, talk about some success stories and things that are happening. Before we begin, though, Natalie, I'm going to ask if you will please launch our first poll question. I'm sorry, Rachel will launch the first poll question. All right, so the question is, where have you made the most valuable business connections through RIoT? What we're trying to understand is, as we look at prioritization of different activities and efforts and so on and so forth, where are we as we think about events and when they're in person and when they're virtual and different kinds of programs, larger format things, bigger, smaller, more tailored, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll give a few minutes for everybody to respond to that. We'll capture any feedback in the room. You can either take notes and share it with us later, raise your hand. We can capture things on the whiteboard here. Hello, welcome. And fantastic. Again, we'll share all the results out for everybody later, but it looks like right now where we're seeing most of the response coming in are in-person RIoT events. Is where we're seeing the most value. So that's fantastic. All right. We'll close that. And Jen, I'll ask you to welcome our newest sponsors.
Welcome to JFrog and Breadware. We had them join last quarter. Both companies have listed some things that they are looking for connections in. JFrog is looking for any kind of connections to manufacturing, computer vision at the edge, energy, retail, and robotics. Breadware is looking for connections to industrial and manufacturing companies. So if you meet any of those categories, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll happily connect you to both of those new sponsors. But in the meantime, feel free to ping them on Slack or see them at some of our upcoming events and welcome them to the network.
Absolutely. We couldn't be more excited to have both of these organizations joining us. They each offer incredible services and platforms. And so get to know them. If you'd like an introduction, just let us know. We also are thankful to have many renewing sponsors. Natalie.
Yeah, we want to welcome our sponsors who have just recently renewed this past quarter. Thank you for your continued support, and we're excited to continue growing our relationship with you.
We see a number of names here who've been with us for many, many years now, as well as some newer entrants and some folks that have returned after a pause. We're excited to have Nordic rejoining. We were debating, Nordic, whether to put you on the renewed sponsors or the new sponsor, but Nordic Semiconductor, for those who don't know, we're with RIoT from the very, very beginning for a number of years. And we got a couple of people trying to get in the door. It looks like it locked itself. Sorry about the disruption. We will keep moving along. This is where we're going to talk about some of the things that we're aware of in our ecosystem that you've shared with Lauren or others on our team. There's a lot of cool stuff going on among the members, but we may not have everything captured. And so for those who don't see your name come across a slide in a moment, prepare to unmute your mic, talk about yourself. But first, we have our second poll question to launch. Rachel. All right, this is the second question here. We're asking what most affects your decision to attend an in-person event? Is it the topics, the time, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon, et cetera, status of the speakers, the other companies? Love to hear a little bit of feedback as we think about how we continue to curate the audiences and do in-person things in both the formats and the timeframes that are most useful for people. A little bit more of a balanced distribution coming in on this one so far.
Response rate. Right.
All right. Got all but 2 answers in. And again, we're capturing in the room. All right. Thank you. Let's move to Jennifer.
Yes, so shout out to Blues Wireless, who has just been named Industrial IoT Product of the Year in 2023. Congrats on this cool award.
The note card is a pretty fantastic tool for anyone who's looking to build something quickly.
Also, shout out to the Launch Place. They were named the top investor in the Southeast. And also today they announced that their third exit from their portfolio companies. So that's a pretty cool deal for them.
That's really cool. Rubrik, they were the very first institutional money into Rubrik, who's the exit that they just announced. They invested out of the pre-seed fund and out of the seed fund into this company. It just successfully grew through another $3 million investment that kind of bought the Launch Place out as it continues to grow. Lots of cool success stories. I think about a third of the companies at the Launch Place in some way have come through the RIoT program over the years. And so we're really excited to continue that longstanding partnership.
Also, shout out to CocoFlow, who was named who is a recipient of the Smart 50s award. They will be in Colorado in a couple of weeks around that award as well.
If you may recall the last call, they just opened their first U.S. headquarters up in Virginia as well.
And then Cento had a visit from the U.S. ambassador for Colombia in their shop, which is, as a Colombian-based company, they are really excited about this news.
It was great. We saw them out at South by Southwest recently. They've been in San Francisco, up in New York. They're kind of all over the place. So not surprising that the investor is visiting. It's kind of cool.
And it's me, and I'm a little shorter than Tom, so I'm going to bring down my screen a bit. Hey, everybody, Rachel Newberry, RIoT Program Director. Good to see everyone again. Supply Chain Partner has recently expanded globally. They are a South African-based company, but the CEO has recently relocated to the state, so we'd like to welcome Shimei to Cary, North Carolina. They are launching their U.S. headquarters here, looking to expand their procurement services into also, products and apps and additional technology that can enable them to scale. And they also have really awesome education and training programs for underrepresented folks to get on-the-job training and access to tech jobs. So welcome to the state, Supply Chain Partner. And I've got a number of startup updates here, and the common thread is that they all came through our Wilson-based cohorts. Again, we're at the Gig East Exchange today where we ran these programs. First up is TSV Analytics. They are doing interesting things in the social listening and trend prediction space for social media. They recently were one of 3 winners of the National Association of Broadcasters Pilot Challenge, which is all about innovation in broadcasting. So congrats to TSV. We had a chance to catch up with Clinispan Health last week at RIoT's FemTech event. Clinispan helps to diversify clinical trials, which is a huge challenge and historic issue. Clinispan recently launched in Canada, so their first international market where they are recruiting minorities to join clinical trials. Really important work. Okay, Faster Lines. This is a little bit of a sneak peek at Fast QSR's rebrand. That's some exciting news for the company. Faster Lines has been experiencing awesome growth. They are now up to 13 employees. They have a new headquarters based out of Lewisburg, North Carolina. They are operating in 400 locations. So their core product is helping fast food lines to move more quickly. So they've got interesting analytics to help bring more revenue in the door. So they've got 400 locations and they're launching 400 more new locations over the next 12 months. So exciting and impressive growth from Faster Lines. Harvest. This is another RAP alumni company that had a recent rebrand. You might have been familiar with Nilay's company, B Global Safety. Harvest is the new name. They are also really focusing on optimization in the supply chain, which is a bit of a pivot from some of their early solutions around safety on manufacturing floors. So they're really finding their way. They recently landed a huge industrial partner out of India, so an international client, and they're participating in Plug and Play's supply chain cohort and also AI Innovation Labs new cohort. So they're bouncing around, talking about Harvest and their new solutions and participating in lots of great innovation programs. Next up, Round. If you know Rob Thielen, you know he's extremely dynamic. This is a screen grab from his pitch at South by Southwest, where he was kind of moving and bouncing around the stage. But he was down in Austin, Texas, talking about Round as part of South by's pitch competition. And that team has been growing and doing great things as well. On a personal front, Rob actually recently relocated to Wisconsin. So send him your well wishes, but the company is still headquartered in Raleigh and he'll be back in town. So say hi to Rob. All right, and finally, for the startup updates, we have a current cohort of the RIoT Accelerator program operating here at the Gig East Exchange in Wilson. 7 great teams. Modal actually recently went through a rebrand, so they're already kind of pivoting as part of the program. Druid Agriculture recently launched a pilot project with Microsoft. Sure has a plant-based baby formula that they got their first manufactured samples last week. And April is working with Beast Philanthropies, which is Mr. Beast's philanthropy arm, if you all know him, to donate that first batch of formula to help families in need. So a lot of interesting, exciting things happening in this cohort. The last group I'll highlight here is Axon, which many of you know is not a startup, but a multinational, multi-billion-dollar company. Axon is working with us through the RIoT Accelerator program to do some strategic rebranding as they pursue kind of a justice platform rather than just focusing on individual technology products like on-body cameras or the taser. So strategic shift for Axon, and they're doing exciting work to combat public safety. All right, and then I'd be remiss to not highlight the Gig East Exchange, our awesome partners here in Wilson, where we are today. Gig East is growing like crazy since they launched in 2021. There's a wait list for offices here, so they're in really high demand. They're building a great community here. We'll tour you guys around the building if you've not been here yet. And this is a picture from the NC Speaker of the House, Tim Moore's visit a couple of weeks ago. So the space and the community here in Wilson is garnering attention from the state government, who is supportive of the growth happening here in Wilson.
All right, so with that, any other highlights anyone wants to share in the room, online? Feel free to just unmute yourself if you're online, or I think there's a raise hand function. What else is cool stuff that's happening? Otherwise, I got to start calling on people.
I'll start. I've made some progress through going to a lot of expos. One company told me, antenna manufacturer down in Florida, I could test material pieces, samples there at any time. So I've used some past pitch prize money to get together a small trip to Jacksonville, Florida to visit Microant for a small conference and to test some material samples I've been testing myself. And also I'm just getting close to completion of prosecuting another patent for my company.
Fantastic update, Christine. For those not familiar with Latticet, Christine has developed interesting novel materials useful for improving efficiencies in radio communications and also in power and energy. So yeah, great update. Seth, I know you're like crazy busy right now.
Yeah, we are pretty crazy busy. We are face to the voice. We are just we are super looking forward to being part of the RIoT Accelerator program that's coming up. But right now, you know, we're deeply involved with taking over some business lines from some of our fintech customers. And part of, you know, being part of this community is really to help us figure out, you know, how to move forward and, you know, bring some of the great domain of IoT to some of these customers. So we're super excited to move forward.
Appreciate it. For those who haven't met the instantiations team yet, they're planning on joining the accelerator, but they keep getting so much business that it's hard to find the time, right? And so
We'll get there.
Maybe you don't need us.
We're excited.
Okay. Appreciate the update. Other updates from anyone?
This is John Holden. Can you hear me?
Yes, John, go ahead.
I just want to share with everyone that we'll be submitting a grant here in our area of Virginia to, I think you guys will be very involved, but in the coming year, hope to get into a variety of communities in what we call the Eastern Peninsula or the Middle Peninsula to explain to civic leaders about the technology available to help communities become more efficient, i.e. smart communities, whether it be IoT sensors or devices or software or cyber or whatever it might be. So hopefully the plan for that project is to engage those civic leaders and then bring technology companies like many in the room or online to a follow-up event to share how their solution may help a community become more efficient or smart.
Fantastic, John. As you have information to share, please send it and we will distribute it among the entire consortium.
Will do.
Fantastic. Anyone hiring? Oh, go ahead. Somebody. Rudy, go ahead. Rudy. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm the newbie here and I appreciate meeting everyone virtually. Look forward to meeting everyone in person. Just wanted to make a highlight. We just were awarded a deal with a multi-billion-dollar international company last week. And the reason why that's relevant, they own about 48 companies in the industrial manufacturing space. And key to that is we're just seeing a lot of momentum in the IoT space for the end-to-end solutions. Some of the things are happening around data and data analytics and some of the, you know, our strengths. So I think that's good for everyone in the market. We're seeing some real movement, considerably more movement than we saw in the last year or so. So it's pretty exciting to watch.
Cool. Thank you, Rudy. Congrats on not just joining the RIoT team, which is of course significant, but of the project that you just discussed. It's interesting. I've had a number of conversations over the past couple of weeks for people in completely different industries. One was a smart city guest that we had on the podcast in an episode that is in editing now. It'll come out in a few weeks. Somebody else in industrial, somebody else in transportation, and all of them collectively shared they believe we're at the point of like the start of what you would call growth phase, if you think about startup kind of parlance, like the pilots and the first few years, almost decade now of IoT stuff has really still been piloting things, trying things, and now it's like real enterprise growth and scale. But they all predicted that like we're 25% of the journey. Like 10 years are through, but there's 30 more years of growth. in this industry. Everybody's really bullish. And so it's pretty interesting to hear that from different industries that all kind of are seeing things about the same. So thanks for sharing, Rudy. Any others before we move on?
Yeah, just a couple from Amplify Labs. This is John Petit. We're going to be at Emerge in Miami this month, as well as I believe it's InsurTech in Miami. So 2 conferences there. Then next month we'll be at the Angel Capital Association in Vegas, and we're going to be somewhere else, actually, a 4th location. Oh, Payments Canada in Toronto. So a bunch of events coming up. If anybody has any, if that's a part of anybody's market and they're thinking, hey, somebody's going to be there that we might want to chat with, just let us know and we'll keep our eye out for you.
Thanks, John. And it's a good reminder, we go to a lot of events ourselves and we try to let people know about them. We'll talk about a couple here in a moment. And, we'll help make sure to connect people at the event, whether that's in individual introductions, whether that's sharing our booth, whether that's, a happy hour that we'll organize or whatever. But if you're going somewhere, even if we're not there, let us know, because we may know about that or we can spread the word. There's nothing like being out on the road and having an ally to work together with, or to at least start a conversation as you share connections. And so what, the ask that John just made is really powerful in this kind of an audience. So take advantage of that. Likewise, I started to mention, if anybody's hiring, we have a lot of people coming to us every day. I was just in a conversation less than an hour ago about someone who is a genius with spreadsheets and driving kind of what does all the data mean? Not necessarily true AI kind of stuff, but more business intelligence. And so if anybody's looking for that kind of a skill set, let us know. That said, any other comments before we move on? Sorry, I'm looking over at the monitor and the screen and the audience all at the same time.
Looks like we're good.
All right. So let's keep
Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
real quick, Tom. I just want to jump in. We've got 1 or 2 of our folks that are going to be out this summer on paternity leave. So from a hiring standpoint, we are looking for a senior development resource to join our team. We're not quite sure. It just kind of depends on our bandwidth, whether we're going to need, somebody part-time for just a couple months, or if it's going to be longer than that. But if anybody in the network knows a senior technical resource, we'd love to chat with them.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. There is no more in-demand resource than software developers, I think. So
no kidding. Yeah.
Fantastic. And of course, there's a lot of other groups that do the same kind of work, right? And so there could be cases where one team is heavy and another team is light. Maybe there's even ways to collaborate that way too.
Totally.
So,
Kyle, just real quick, depending on timing, contact Don Shin.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got some availability that might be able to fill your hole. I don't know if the timing works out, but just shoot him a message.
Yeah, we've got a great relationship with those guys. So that's a great point. I appreciate that. I'll do just that.
wonderful. All right. Quick look backwards at a few things, and then we'll spend the rest of the focus really kind of looking forward at what's coming. It's been a really busy, this says Q2. It's our fiscal Q2. Our year starts October 1st. So it's calendar Q1, but fiscal Q2 for us. As we look back at, say January to present, we've held a number of RIoT events that we've been pretty excited about. The cyber physical event that we held out in Durham at Smashing Boxes, now Durham Bottling Company is how they've rebranded their co-working space. Great discussions around kind of how are we kind of managing and protecting the threat vectors associated with cyber physical systems. How are we kind of protecting those edge devices? Had a really wonderful event just 2 weeks ago now, last week, focused on femtech, this intersection of technology and women's health. It's an area that is a massive market. We had incredible speakers. We had a great turnout. It was a ton of fun. I learned a lot. For anybody out there that's in the investor space, one of the key takeaways that I thought was interesting is your typical femtech exit is $100 million more on average than a typical just traditional tech exit. And it happens about 4 years faster. So for everybody that's looking to invest, that's how hot the market is right now and how important it is. And then, of course, we've been working with the new cohort here in the RIoT Accelerator that Rachel talked about earlier, and excited to be here at the Exchange sharing some of that. Jen, tell us about what's been happening up in Virginia.
Lots has been happening up here in Virginia. We held a cohort of our foundations program throughout the month of March and had really great participation from a variety of different companies in that program. We also held our first developer day in March in the Virginia ecosystem. Great turnout, really cool speakers, topics around AI and cybersecurity, all intersecting with DevOps. And then finally, we worked with the Launch Place to host a speed networking event to engage their local community on entrepreneurship and conversations with business leaders, making sure to give the up and comers advice from people who've been around the block for a while and calm any fears around what are they doing right and wrong in business, and saying it's all part of the process. So cool things happening in Virginia.
Great stuff. We've been a number of places around the country and around the world in the last few months as well. Most of these with various partners. If we kind of work backwards, just a couple of weeks ago, Natalie and I were down in Charlotte with our friends from All Things Open for the Open Source 101 event. I was privileged to be able to give the opening kind of welcome and keynote to that event. Just a great software community. So Kyle and others, if you're looking for those developers, engaging the All Things Open organization and going out to their meetups, that's a great way to meet talent and to get involved. Prior to that, Rachel and I were out in Austin for South by Southwest, which is just an amazing show. I'll tell all kinds of stories about that later during the networking session, but a really important event. The audience was full back. And I will say, between South by Southwest, between IoT Evolution down in Fort Lauderdale earlier this year, IoT World Congress in Barcelona, where I had an opportunity to speak, like audiences are back at these conferences, the big conferences. I've been to South by pre-COVID. I've now been there post-COVID. People are attending. They are wanting to learn. They are wanting to connect. Interestingly, in my estimation, the corporate spend is way down. Like at South by Southwest, the corporate spend at that event couldn't have been a third of what it has been historically. And John, you were there with Amplify Labs. Our friends from Cento were there exhibiting. I think you would agree that it's a great time to be going to these conferences because the audience wants to talk to people and there aren't many people to talk to, which means you capture all the opportunity. If you don't mind, John, can I put you on the spot to talk briefly about your experience at South by Southwest?
Yeah, absolutely. So in general, I'd say we went to two conferences in, I think it was March. Was it March?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right.
March.
Time is very blurry right now. So we went to two conferences in March, and first one was South by Southwest. Second one was FinTech Meetup. Both of them, we came away from feeling like our expectations were, we exceeded our expectations on number of conversations, number of productive conversations, number of potential, you could call them leads or contacts, whatever you want to say, right? But the number of folks who were looking for valuable interactions around problems that they have was beyond what we anticipated. And Tom, that makes sense from what you said. If the audiences are there, and this was our first experience. So Tom was telling us about the number of vendors, the number of businesses and companies was down. So I think for us, and we're going to see this over the next couple months, but our expectation is that that was more productive than we could have anticipated.
Yeah, appreciate it. Herman, anything that you want to add from Cento's perspective? We're not catching your audio, so if if you're trying, maybe we'll hear from you in a moment, but if not, we'll keep moving forward. So yeah, it's basic supply and demand. There's a lot of demand out there, it appears, for people wanting to meet, wanting to collaborate, wanting to partner. There wasn't that much supply of people out there now. So if you're in an organization thinking about whether or not this is the time to exhibit, and at least there's a few data points that says timing might be good to do that now.
There it is.
Oh,
Hi, Tom. Do you hear me?
yeah, we've got you, Herman. Yes, thank you.
Okay. I had a problem with my headphones. Yeah, we went to South by Southwest, and then I went to San Francisco to the World Agri-Tech Summit. Both events, I would say they were fantastic. South by Southwest is a more massive, diverse event. I mean, you're able to meet like people from different worlds, like arts, music, technology. So it is like it's very nice to get in touch with different profiles. It helps you think in other ways. What I like about Southwest is that there were a lot of networking events after the conferences. So you were like, I don't know, like events oriented to startups, to technology, to AI ecosystem. So you will find a lot of opportunities to meet really cool people. And in the one from the World Agri-Tech Summit in San Francisco, it is a much smaller event, but it's very like focused. So you will find like people, like a lot of venture capitals looking to invest, a lot of startups looking for investment, but like a lot of people, like decision makers. So you would have fewer conversations, but they were more focused. So it was also very nice for us.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. I do have to confess, there's one error on this slide. I don't know how the team did it, but this picture in the middle right here is actually Rachel getting her sports car stuck in a ditch in the video game she was playing, and somehow she cleared that screen to not show. All right, that's all right. That was in was that Dolby's exhibit? Yeah, it was kind of cool. Anyway, all right, let's move on. So great to look at the things that have happened. What's going forward? How do we get involved? Oh, and we've got a poll question to kick this one off. Thank you. All right, question number 3. How do you evaluate the success of a lunch and learn? The Lunch and Learn series has been extremely popular, continues to draw, particularly online, larger and larger audiences. But we want to see immediately nearly 100% looking at, business connections made. Valuable business. Yeah, that means only the ones where they cut a contract with you afterwards, right? Yeah, thank you, Karen. So as folks are going here, let me ask a follow-up to this one, which is for those, and this can be just a show of hands kind of thing in the room and online. I think there's a raise hand function. Raise your hand if you're finding as many of those valuable connections coming through the online lunch and learns compared to the in-person ones. People are kind of shaking their heads, they're not sure yet. Anybody want to just comment on that? We're certainly seeing, larger audiences online. It's easier to do online because you can just do it from wherever you're working, right? We're interested in just some feedback on, is that developing into the same kind of relationships that historically we always saw, where like after the lunch and learn, somebody would walk up to the front and talk to the speaker and exchange a business card. We want to validate that we're getting good feedback in both formats. And if you don't want to speak about your company's performance or whatever, we can talk offline with people on that as well. But all right, I think we've got
aren't able to give us your thoughts right now, feel free to email Tom directly.
Cool. All right, thanks. So a couple of just quick look forwards. May 9th in Charlotte, we're going to be in person. This is going to be a pretty interesting event. We think, I think it'd be super fun. I will thank Amplify Labs in advance. They're helping us with the tech behind the scenes on this, but we're going to take a deep dive into generative AI. So this is things like GPT-4 and ChatGPT. This is things like, you know, these tools that automatically create pictures for you, et cetera, et cetera. They write poems, they tell stories. We're going to hold a panel where we're going to have a couple of human experts talking about the maturity of these technologies, the appropriateness of them, where are the good use cases, where are people using them in creative ways. And we're also going to have an AI panelist powered by our friends at Amplify Labs. And we're going to have a discussion where we'll ask some questions to the humans and to the AI, and we're going to see how their opinions are the same, are different. I think it should be a lot of fun. Something like when Watson played Jeopardy, if we have any IBM fans in the room, that'll be May 9th at the Launch Factory. Go ahead and please sign up. We do have an opportunity if anybody would like to be the event sponsor for this one or the beer sponsor. Let us know. We can get you involved. And oh yes, thank you, Lauren. Also, as anyone knows, we have exhibit opportunities at all of these. These are included in your sponsorship. There's no additional money. Don't feel like you need to be an AI company to exhibit. Like the point is to get out and to, you know, meet people, and the folks that attend are going to have some interest in this topic, but also are going to be interested in tech and other things broadly. Jennifer.
We'll be attending the Smart Cities Connect conference in Denver in May. We'd love to have you all join us at this event. We have a discount code and a couple of passes that we'd love to work with you all on. And we have a booth that you're welcome to share with us at the event. As well as we're planning a happy hour to engage with our folks who are in the Colorado area. Even if you're not attending the conference, feel free to come on out to that. We'll be posting those details shortly. If you have a particular restaurant that you would recommend near the Colorado Convention Center, I'm open to those ideas. You get to choose the beer. And yeah, we're looking to connect with folks out in that area.
Thank you, Jen. I will break some news that will be broken at the conference. I did see it posted online, so I don't think that I'm, you know, betraying an NDA or anything, but we will be announcing on Wednesday, the 17th, the middle day of this conference, that for the next 2 years, this conference is moving to Raleigh. So we're excited to have that coming our way. It's a good time to engage now. Meet the organizers, get yourself a speaking slot for next time. We can help with that for anybody who's interested. And government folks are free. So anyone in the public sector, you can attend this event for free. We've got a few things coming up in June here in the Triangle that everyone should participate in if you're in the area. And they're stacked close to each other. So if you're out of the area, it can be a really efficient business trip to come in. We have a lot of activity going on in Cary. You're going to hear about some of that from Rachel here in a moment, but on June 7th, there's a Connected Cities event. This is going to run from about 8 or 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon that day. Oh, it's right on the screen there, 9 till 2 at the Cary Arts Center. Pretty interesting speakers talking about broadband, about economic development, about smart cities. Should be a good time. And I'm not just saying that because I'm one of the speakers, but we hope to see you out in Cary. And then the next day, out here at the Gig East Exchange and across the entirety of downtown Wilson for the Gig East Summer. The summit is an incredibly fun activity. It's educational, it's technology, it's arts, it's all the things together. You could think about this really as like a little mini South by Southwest that has continued to grow every year. So we're looking forward to that. I heard a rumor that maybe one of our RAP alumni is going to be doing a cool interactive thing that's still being architected. So I'm not going to say anything more than that, but you're going to have to come out and see and learn about it. So go ahead and put the full day, June 8th on the calendar. Rachel, there is something that you're going to be driving that day. Is that right?
Yes, I will be running a RAP pitch event, which is everyone's favorite. The cohort that is currently operating in Cary with our 7 startup teams, they will be sharing their progress, what they're working on, and there will be a winner announced out of that event. So come out to see more startup projects.
All right, thank you. Jennifer, I'll pass it back to you. Sorry, go ahead.
We will be looking to go to DC in around the Tech Connect World Innovation Conference. We haven't officially decided if we're attending this conference yet. So if anybody is interested in attending, we do work closely with the Tech Connect folks. So please let me know if you are interested in attending this conference. The more of you that show interest, the more likely Tom will say yes for me to go. And so, but if you're interested, please reach out and we'll work to connect you and see what we can do.
I'm sure at a minimum, we can get a 20% discount for anybody that is interested to attend this or participate or exhibit or so forth, and maybe more.
All right, lots happening in Cary coming up. So one event that we wanted to share was IoT Slam will be at SAS headquarters running their event in late June. Great organization based out of the UK, bringing IoT content to the area. In addition, RIoT is helping to facilitate some startup pitches, some women in IoT kind of mentorship content. So if you're interested in participating, let us know, and we would certainly love to have everyone attend. I believe, is this a free event?
I think so, yes.
Free and open event. So check out IoT Slam June 21st and 22nd. And we want to plant a seed for the later half of the year. 2 of our flagship events that everyone loves to participate in. Give us your interest early so we can start coordinating for later this year. In August, we are bringing our Developer Day back to RTP. This is typically a multi-track, highly technical, very educational event. So come out and learn, or we'd love to have many of you speak and teach workshops during this session. And then everyone on this call should be signing up to exhibit at Demo Night. Demo Night is our largest event of the year. We run this as part of the All Things Open conference in the fall. We want to showcase the latest and greatest technology projects that you have to offer. It's always a lot of fun. So mark your calendars for October 16th. And continuing with things next up in Cary. We're really excited to announce that we are launching a new location of the RIoT Accelerator program. We will be running a Cary-based cohort kicking off in May. Applications just closed for this, but if anyone has an inside track to a startup that's super interesting and that we should be working with, then I would still love to talk with them. So yeah, we'll be in Cary next up for RAP, and then looking forward to our next Stafford cohort in the fall. Applications will close for that program July 7th. So again, if you know entrepreneurs, startups, interesting folks that we can support as they go to market and get to those next growth stages, those 2 programs are coming up. Okay, another thing to think about is more and more we are supporting through the RIoT Accelerator program and other services, innovation projects coming out of established corporate companies or coming out of government. So if you are working on an interesting new project, Skunkworks project, a new product offering, a strategic pivot, something that we can help you to think through, then we will certainly welcome you to participate in things like the RIoT Accelerator program. Come, think like a startup for 12 weeks, use that perspective to drive your company's direction. Or we're thinking about lots of other potential services that we could offer to support you all with new business. So if you have ideas, if you have things that we can support with, we would love to brainstorm with you. And so just wanted to mention that. All right, and then we've got a couple of small format offerings that are fantastic for folks that are exploring launching a new business. Bagels in Business is a series coming to Stafford at our testbed location. And also you can plug into virtually. So this Thursday, we're launching Bagels in Business as a regular convening for folks that are exploring new business opportunities. And then the Riot Foundations program is a great crash course. It's sort of a pre-accelerator. So if you're an idea stage entrepreneur, someone that is, thinking about dipping their toe into a new company, the Riot Foundations program is a great way to get some mentorship and kind of help you to pursue some market validation, understand business operations, get some of those basics down. So we've got a cohort in the summer in Stafford and in the fall in Wilson. And folks can reach out to me if they're interested in some of those business support opportunities. Natalie, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks, Rachel. In addition to these events and conferences, we have regular ongoing programming with our Lunch and Learn series. We host them every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. We have meetup pages in all 6 cities shown here where we market and promote your Lunch and Learn. As a reminder, we host Lunch and Learns virtually and are also hosting them in person in Raleigh at RIoT Labs. And we'll take another poll question now.
Launching now.
While the poll is loading, by our next call, we're going to be able to announce a 7th city where we'll have a very, very large meetup presence. And so stay tuned for that announcement. There's some organizers we worked with in the past that have done an incredible job building a very, very large community that are moving on to other things. And so RIoT's in the process of taking that over, and we'll introduce you to another market here shortly. The 4th question is now on the screen. What new service would you most like RIoT to offer? Company field trips we've been toying around with for a while, company retreats, happy hours, or expanding some of our existing things into new geographies. Think about that. Next time we need to figure out an online tool where people in the room can just like text from their phone or something, use one of those services. Interesting. We're seeing some pretty balanced results coming in. Nobody wants us to take your executive team out into the woods to a cabin anywhere. I shouldn't say nobody. We have a few takers on that. We would love to have that conversation.
Yeah, John Holden picked that one.
It could be a lake, it could be the beach, it could be Pinehurst, Anybody needs to change their vote, let us know. But no, this is cool. We'll have to dig into this a little bit. It sounds like continuing to offer like kind of the broad spread of different things is interesting. And so we'll reach out to folks. If you didn't know, like your votes are getting captured, so we can follow up individually with conversations here and there to dig in deeper. But thank you for that. There's only one more poll question coming, so we're getting towards the finish. All right, I guess I got to close that right there. We are.
And next up, we have the following Lunch and Learn scheduled. Please join these awesome companies at their event. Every RIoT sponsor has the opportunity to host a Lunch and Learn, but our year is filling up quickly. Our next available date is June 28th. If you're interested in scheduling a Lunch and Learn, please email me at natalie@riot.org, which is at the bottom of the slide there. And one of the new things we are offering are hosting Lunch and Learns at your company's office. We're offering to help coordinate and plan field trips to your company's office. Join us for our first one on July 12th at Porticos from 1 to 2 p.m. in Morrisville, North Carolina. We'll host a Lunch and Learn and they'll give an office tour and reach out to me if you'd like to learn more about this.
Yeah, we love this idea of bringing people to your facilities where you can show off your products, the things that you do, combine it with, a simple lunch, other things. So thanks, Porticos, for taking a leap to kick this off for us. And I hope we'll see this from more and more companies. Of course, we have RIoT Labs. We got the wireless center. We've got offices in those cities that Natalie just showed. So for those that do want to do in-person things, we can help facilitate in a number of geographies.
We are currently in the midst of season 4 of the RIoT Underground podcast. We've released 6 episodes so far this year. New episodes drop every other week on Thursdays. The podcasts can be found on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Our next episode features Amplify Labs and drops April 20th.
Fantastic. These are a lot of fun. yeah, we're always recording. If you have really interesting stories to share, let us know what those are. If you know of folks, even outside of our network that we should be talking to, we do, primarily it's our sponsors on these programs, but we do occasionally have, really interesting and notable folks in the industry, and we would love to kind of continue to mix and have more and more diversity on this program. So feel free to reach out.
Hey, everybody. Lauren here. I think I've met most of you by now, but I head up our marketing and communications here at RIoT. So just a reminder to please send me any of your wins. So success stories, any job postings you want us to put out there, company updates, etc. Just some feedback I've had from partners is that it'd be really helpful if we all shared each other's social media handles so we could follow each other online. So if I would encourage everybody to drop those handles either in comments here today or on our Slack channel so we can all start following each other and help with spreading the word of all of our businesses. If you need anything, I'm Lauren@riot.org.
I think you're the next.
Oh, I think I'm the next one too. Oh, and here's all of our social handles. So we're RIoT on social on all of our social handles now. So LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. So give us a follow there. And this is if you are not connected to our Slack channel, make sure you reach out to Natalie and we'll get you engaged there. This is a great tool to also put out your job postings, news, event opportunities, etc. Take it back to Tom.
All right, thank you. So there are lots and lots of ways to get engaged. We will send these slides out so you have this list. We're not going to go through all of them right here. This is what we've been talking about for the last 45 minutes or so. But we're always open to new ideas. We're always open to creative ideas. Feel free to leverage the organization to get the most value out that you can. And a lot of that means just picking up the phone. Hey, Rachel, I have this interesting idea. Can I bounce it off you? Whatever the case may be. Our next session for this is going to be July the 18th. We'll send a save the date out for people's calendars. We're going to continue as long as people think it's interesting to do this hybrid format where people can join remotely, but we can also do it in person. And we're going to continue to kind of move this around. So today we're out in Wilson. We're really excited that you all have come out to join us here. We're still excited for those that are online for joining us virtually as well. We know that Wilson may not be the most convenient location for a sponsor that sits in Arizona or California or wherever the case might be. Herman, thank you for calling in from South America. But we like this idea of moving things around. And so keep an eye out. We're also going to announce an in-person location for this. If you would like at some point to host one of these sessions yourself, let us know and we can consider adding you to the calendar and coming out to your facility, not just for a lunch and learn, but for one of these networking events as well. We have a final poll question and then we're going to open to just general conversation. So for this quarterly call itself, what aspect of the quarterly sponsor call provides the most value for you? We'll give folks a moment or two to answer. All right. Thank you for answering. Here's the chance to provide feedback to RIoT, which no one selected. So we'll see how this conversation goes. All right. Let's see. I think you need to end the poll. You did. Okay, perfect. Thank you. And again, we'll share all these results out in a follow-up email. And we'll have a few other questions that we'll ask you to respond to in the email that we send back. So even if you were in the meeting and think, I don't need to open the email, if you don't mind just open quickly just to answer a couple other questions that we have as we continue to try and be data-driven in our own activities in this data economy. So with that, oops, if I can get the TV to stop dinging. Yeah, let's open the floor. Conversation, feedback, discussion topics of any kind. What's going well? What are new ideas people have? Are there things that we should be doing differently? Is there information that we're not providing in this session that we should, et cetera? I'll just kind of open the floor. If somebody in the room has comments, I can help repeat them for the mic. Somebody spoke, I think.
I know John Holden has.
John Holden has an announcement. Go for it, John.
I don't know if you all can hear me, but I want to share with everyone, I'll be leaving Stafford towards very soon, but the operations in the Virginia test bed will continue vigorously. I want to thank RIoT for their participation in the Stafford test bed. I want to share with everyone that I probably won't be going very far, and I'll be seeing you all soon. I'll be in Raleigh starting May 1st as their first smart city manager. So I look forward to working with all of you in a different capacity in a new way. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, congratulations, John. What John built in Stafford with this test bed is truly phenomenal. We're going to continue working with the test bed. Jen, that's where she sits. That's probably where she's sitting right now, as a matter of fact. It is an incredible facility. For those that are local to the Raleigh area, John's a huge asset to the region that we've just acquired. And I am looking forward to seeing what creative ideas that he has to help to move us forward. So we've got John coming, we've got the Smart Cities Connect coming to Raleigh next spring for the next 2 years, at least. That's as far as the contract goes, but maybe it becomes a permanent location. There is incredible stuff in that particular vertical that are happening. And so, yeah, congratulations, John. That's really cool to hear. Other announcements, questions, feedback?
I'll throw in for anybody who wants more information on what a smart city is and how your company might potentially fit into that. We keep learning new things every day, so feel free to reach out to myself or anybody on the team and we can give you more information.
Cool. While we're talking about geography too, I want to remind folks, I think it was last call maybe where folks first got a chance to meet Natalie. But Natalie sits in Atlanta, and you want to talk about a city that has a lot of interesting things going on. You know, if you want help connecting in that market, or if you are in that market, I know a number of our sponsors are down there. Make sure to find a time to grab a coffee, get to know Natalie, help her to learn a little bit about what you do, what you're trying to do. As she comes from a different industry into this role, she has some incredible talent in kind of organizing, operationalizing things, and just overall kind of networking and building connections. We're excited to have her, but you know, not just for her herself, which is most important, but then for this ability to help us unlock, you know, kind of even more in the Southeast through the key hub in Atlanta. Other thoughts, feedback? I'm not going to open the 19 chats on my screen. I'm assuming somebody's you're watching those. Good. Cool. All right, wonderful. You didn't click the button, so we don't have to belabor that piece of the conversation. For those of you here, though, we're going to do a quick tour, and it's beautiful outside if you're open to it. We were going to go across the street and grab a drink and keep talking. For those online, feel free to also grab a drink and talk to whoever's nearby. But yeah, thanks, everybody.